Hi, and welcome to this episode of John's Model Kit Review. Today we are looking at Eduard's beautiful Spitfire Mk.XVI in 1/48 scale, and we're going to be taking a look at the built-up model here that I've done. We'll also be taking a look at the kit instructions, the color marking options that come in the kit, some of the kit plastic parts, and we're going to be attempting to answer the question, are Eduard's 1/48 scale Spitfires the best Spitfires available in that scale? This is the second 1/48 scale Eduard Spitfire that I've built. I built their Spitfire 9 early version, and I've also built this kit. They have both turned out superbly well. The level of surface detail on these kits is amazing. The level of detail right out of the box, even on the weekend edition kits, is world class. Eduard has a well-deserved reputation for building fiddly kits. And a lot of people, it seems, are scared to tackle an Eduard kit just because of this reputation. First off, we're going to address the elephant in the room. Is this kit a weekend slammer? Is this something that a newbie modeler should be, going out and purchasing and slapping together? I would say that's an unqualified no. This kit is still a fiddly kit. It is somewhat parts heavy, and the parts are small and delicate. If you take your time and you go through this and you make sure to clean up all the parts very precisely, you will get what is almost a perfect model. Panel lines are crisp and precise. They've got some of the best surface detailing of any kit available. The weekend edition kits give you two marking options. The first aircraft is an aircraft that took part in the Cooper Air Race of 1949, and it was from number 601 Squadron. The second marking option is for a plane from number 612 Squadron. This plane took part in the Cooper Air Race at Elmdon Air Base in July of 1949. As you may have noticed, the Spitfire that I have modeled is not either of those marking options. I modeled Spitfire SL-721, and this was the personal aircraft of Air Vice Marshal Sir James M. Rodd. He had it custom painted, the light blue color, and he flew the plane from 1946 through 1948. It was sent to a maintenance unit after that, and then in 1949, he took it back out of the maintenance unit and flew it again from 1949 through 1951. I actually didn't have a marking set for this particular plane. I was able to go to the decal dungeon and scrounge up the J and MR markings from other Spitfire kits. I was also able to find SL-721. I cut and pasted that. Even the red bar with the 3 white stars on the left-hand side of the plane underneath the cockpit, those had to be sourced from other decal sheets. So I spent a lot of time just kind of cutting and pasting decals to get this color scheme. The color itself was custom mixed from some acrylic craft paint. It's a solid blue plane, and so it's very easy for that to be very monotone and to have no action. It's also very easy to overweather it and have it look a little bit busy. I'm very happy with the way the weathering turned out on this, and I used artist pastels, and I applied those with a very closely cropped paintbrush. And so it makes a very stiff, short bristled brush, and I did that very fine detail on the panel lines and some of the rivet detail, and then went over that with a kneadable eraser and toned that down. The decals that I used, most of these were Eduard decals, and they went down beautifully. I had no issues with them. They settled down into the panel lines very nicely with some micro set and some micro salt. We're going to look through the instructions here to see some of the parts breakdown. Looking through the instructions kind of highlights Eduard's design philosophy, and it seems to be, if one part would do, why not use 3 parts? This kit is probably going to have 2 to 3 times the number of parts in it that, let's say, an Airfix kit would have, or a Tamiya kit. It simply has more parts. The reward side of that is it is so much more precisely detailed than either of those kits, and it really does look nice when finished. We can see even the construction of the control column. Instead of this being 1 part, it's 3 parts. Looking at the seat, that's a 5-part seat. Even the gun sight itself is made out of 4 parts. just for the single gun sight. So there are 13 parts that go together just in boxing in the landing gear in the lower wing. Dry fit the parts, make sure you've got a very precise fit, and then it's a matter of just putting some thin liquid cement in there and you have a beautiful gap-free assembly. Another area just to be aware of, the exhausts on these kits, it's beautiful. They come hollowed out, the exhausts look very nice, but it's 4 parts on each side. And so you have to build the exhaust assemblies and then you have to carefully install them into the fuselage of the kit. Next, we'll look at the radiators on the underside of the wing. They really turned out beautifully. The fit was perfect. There was no gaps around the base where they mount to the wing, but there are multiple parts that go in each radiator housing. The sides of the housing and the top of the housing are separate parts. The clear parts on this kit are very, very nice, and once the airframe is built up, it paints and weathers just like any other kit. So really, if you can take your time on the assembly and just go through it methodically, even if you have to break this kit up into steps, let's just say you're like, okay, I'm only going to do 1 step a day. You can very easily get through this kit in a very short amount of time. It's simply not one that you're going to sit down and put the airframe together in 1 day. Another bonus feature of this kit, I've got a picture here of some of what's left over in the box. There are extra tail planes left over, there's spare wingtips, there's different landing gear, there's cockpit doors. You can really use what's left over in the box on this kit to dress up other kits. In conclusion, are the Eduard 1/48 scale Spitfire kits the best Spitfires available? I'm going to say that that really depends on the temperament of the modeler. There are modelers out there who will be perfectly content with a simpler option from either Tamiya or Airfix or Hasegawa. But if you want the most precise, the most accurate Spitfire models, these Eduard 1/48 scale kits are world class. They're just awesome. And I would encourage you, if you have one in the stash, go ahead and give it a go. Again, just take your time on the small parts. If you remove the sprue stubs and you dry fit everything and work through it methodically, if you do that, you're going to be rewarded with a fabulous kit. Well, I'd love to know what you guys think. If any of you have built some of the Eduard Spitfires before and want to share your experience in the comment section below, please feel free to do so. As always, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative. And until next time, model on.